What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio, in the building for another special edition of the show on today. Where, man, listen, the NFL draft is coming up, 2025 NFL draft. This might be the most exciting NFL draft in a minute. And for me, it's exciting because I think we might go back to 1980, 1994. We might go back to the 2000s. We got multiple HBCU players drafted. And the guy I have here is one of the stars of Jackson State University in their 2024 Celebration Bowl run. A guy that Ariella and I with HBCU Pulse Radio on the sports side have been a fan of. Got Irv Mulligan, running back extraordinaire, in the building. How you doing today, Irv?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm blessed to be here.
Man, listen, the thing about it is people lie when they do these interviews. They're like, man, I'm a fan of yours. I watched your games. We literally are fans of yours because we saw what you were doing when you transferred over from Wofford to Jackson State. You was making it happen in 2023, and you definitely made it happen in 2024. So we're super excited to talk to you. How you feeling? Draft is almost in a month. How's everything going with you?
Man, everything's going good, man. Just trying not to stress it too much, just sticking to the plan, man. It's just like since I was a little boy, I was playing football, so I'm just doing everything needed, trusting the process, get there, And I got a statement to make. I got a little chip on my shoulder, coming from an HBCU. I feel like I got a good chance to get in there and show them what we can do. So I'm excited. It's gonna be a great moment. It's gonna be a great thing for all HBCU athletes, and yeah, I'm ready, man.
I love it. I love it. So let's just walk down your history in college football real quick, man, because you started at Wofford. So what made you choose Wofford to start your college career?
Well, I had multiple offers. My first offer was Coastal Carolina, but Wofford was actually the only offer that me and my cousin had, Jaheim Hazel. He's still kind of active playing football. He's trying to get in the Canadian League. But me and my cousin went there. It was a great moment for the city, for the school. We actually family, we played all sports together growing up. So it was an easy decision and it was a good academic decision. So I went to Wofford for all 4 years. I graduated from there with a good environmental degree. Then I transferred to Jackson State. I wanted the HBCU experience. So yeah, man, it was just a great experience there. And like I said, I just wanted the HBCU experience. And I also had a cousin, Brandon Morton. He was on the coaching staff. So we just have a family reunion here. So man, it was just a great experience for me.
Man, I love it. That family aspect. And really with the HBCU vibe, it's family, man. And that's one thing when we talk to, HBCU alumni, and even what I've said in the past, it's about family. So Jackson State, you chose to go to Jackson State. What made you choose Jackson State as your HBCU once you were done with your Wofford experience?
Oh, that's easy. Well, for one, it's a stumping ground of a lot of Hall of Famers. For one, Walter Payton. If you're a running back, Walter Payton definitely got to be the number one on your list, and that was always my idol. So I always did my research, and when I did my research, I found out that he went to Jackson State, and I was like, I gotta go there and beat some of his records. It's only gonna make a statement, and it's only gonna make him proud. So I know he up there in the skies looking down. He proud. It was a record that haven't been beaten in 52 years, I believe. So for me to do that and keep my word and actually go to a school Walter Payton went to, it's the bread and the pudding. It's a statement. It's saying something.
Man, that is saying something. I'm pretty sure Walter Payton is looking down Jackson State won the Celebration Bowl, 2024 Celebration Bowl, and then in the fashion that y'all did and just dominating the SWAC and then in the end beating South Carolina State and winning that SWAC championship.
I like how you said dominating.
Hey, listen. It is what it is, man. Dominating the SWAC.
Right. Facts over feeling.
Man, listen, at some point, we have to be honest in the assessments, right? It was domination. And of course, the penultimate game that we all were looking at was that FAMU game, and y'all won that game. And then really you just ran through and then went to the championship and won that championship in an amazing way. So let's talk about that Celebration Bowl. Y'all had an amazing season. So just in your opinion, what made the season great? What was the ingredient to you all winning in that championship?
Right. So last year, the year before, we had a tough time, just coming together as a team. But we still did great things and we showcased great things. So, and we was fresh. Nobody knew each other on the team. So it was kind of hard, playing with some guys you didn't know. So we came back the next year and, we got a whole new coaching staff, same good coaches, electric guys, but the same team. And then we just all put it together. We knew where we failed at the year before, so we had a chip on our shoulder. They chose us number 3 to finish out, but we ain't even going for that. So we showed them, we was gonna be number 1, and we did that. We won it all.
I think that's interesting what you said about how in the preseason polls for the SWAC, Jackson State was selected to be 3rd, right? And, it's crazy because on the basketball side, you have Norfolk State for the men. They won the MEAC championship, and they're going on to face Florida in March Madness as we're recording this. And Coach Jones talked about how he was not happy with his ranking. And I know those two rankings are different because we're talking about a preseason poll versus the ranking for the tournament. But Coach Jones was like, hey, that's motivation for us. Like, we're going to go out there and show why we should be ranked higher because he wanted to be ranked 15. So if for an athlete, because I'm not an athlete, I cover athletes, I'm not an athlete because I tried to do that, didn't work out for me. But is that really motivation to you all when you all see like, hey, you got me ranked number 3, or hey, we're 16th in this tournament? Is that really motivation for you all? And how do you act on that motivation?
Well, it definitely is, but for me it is because you got a lot of people that just sit behind a computer or a phone that, never really like played the sport or never really put in the work or the effort that like the athletes put into, to get where we are. And we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it for people that never really did the same thing or went through we went through just to, put like a critique on us or put a poll on us that we don't deserve. So we go always feel like we deserve more because that's what we know we do. We know we deserve more. We put in the work, so we know what our worth is. So it's definitely personal. It definitely always motivation. Give it a little. I love it. Get a little fire under you. So it's just to prove somebody wrong or just prove a critic wrong. I love it.
Hey, listen, that's true. And for me, how I look at it from the media standpoint, because I'm an NBA fan. And as an NBA fan, there's a lot of disingenuous discourse going on about the NBA. Like, oh, the ratings are bad. Christmas Day, NFL killed the NBA. And it's like this warring faction of folks in the media that thinks things are a certain way. Right. And you have the players like LeBron that are saying things are this way. So I think that what you're saying is key because I think oftentimes it's a disconnect based on experiences. So what I really want to delve into is it's a lot of prognostication around HBCU football. But what I want to delve into in this next question about the Florida A&M game, the FAMU game, I want to really get your viewpoint on it because that was the game of the year for a lot of us in the SWAC. And us on this side, like I said, we don't play football. You know what I'm saying? I played football. I was like 5. It didn't work out. Basketball worked better for me. You know what I mean? So like I'm here and I'm just looking at what I know and just the research. And I was like, man, that's the game of the year. And we were like, whoever wins this game is going to ultimately win the SWAC. And they have a chance to win the Celebration Bowl. So what were your thoughts going into that huge Florida A&M game?
Man, for one, we had to get that get back. They beat us the year before, so man, we was already going in that game fired up. We knew what was at stake. Everybody in the SWAC knew that was the game of the year. We knew that was the game of the year. FAMU knew that was the game of the year. So as you can see, it was a close game. It was a very electric game. So man, we just had a point to prove, and I promise you that we played that game more electric than we played the Celebration Bowl. We knew we was going to dog walk South Carolina State. So we wasn't really too pressed about that. We know we was going to Celebration Bowl to do, and we already beat Southern, so we know we was going to win the SWAC championship. They say they don't like our cockiness, but we confident. We knew what we was going to do, and I honestly think they're going to do it again this year.
Okay, I love it. I got some questions now because let's talk, Irv. I love it. Let's really talk. So one thing people always talk about in sports, and it's something that as a sports fan, and now someone on the Clutch Point side and Sirius XM side, me covering sports, is I hate how people will say the regular season doesn't matter. It's really the postseason that matters. And they even say it in football now, because we know that in football, both on the college football side and the professional side, there's only a few games. But people are saying, man, that regular season game in one random week in October doesn't matter. Well, what matters is what happened in December. What matters is what happens in the conference championship. But you just said that, man, we played that FAMU game like with more intensity in the Celebration Bowl. So in your opinion, like that whole entire regular season don't matter. That's not a real thought process, is it?
Oh, that ain't a real thought process. Any conference, we all know that matter. as you can see, like one loss to like a certain team will drop your rankings down so fast, or one win will bring your rankings up so fast. So like you said, everybody knew the winner of that game was going to end up winning the Celebration Bowl. So it's like, man, it's so, and that's a conference game. So you got they people think it's a regular season game, but you got regular season games and conference games. Like the Grambling game we lost, it didn't count towards our conference game. So it didn't affect us when it was time to play the SWAC championship or go to the Celebration Bowl. So really, every game count. We look at every game the same, to be honest with you. But it definitely affects your rankings and where you end up at in December or end up in the playoffs. So it's definitely important.
I love that. See, I'm gonna clip this so all the sports fans can hear what Irv Mulligan, who's about to be an NFL running back, said. The regular season matters because supposed to be playing. The regular season matters. So let's talk about the Celebration Bowl, because from the prognostication side, the folks that we hear, we're talking, we're not on the field. I think that a lot of folks had reverence for the matchup because we saw what Chennisberry did at Benedict, and he brought that same intensity to South Carolina State. And we saw what Jackson State did in 2023, and then you all built upon that level of success in 2024. So we were all hyped for that matchup, but a lot of us were like, it's hard to pick against Chennisberry because it's like he's having like a storybook season, and that level of physicality in the MEAC. People say, oh, well, the SWAC, it's like the playmakers. They be doing the juke moves, but like the real physicality is in the MEAC. But what we saw in our analysis, the folks that really are watching and doing the analysis, is Jackson State was physical too on offense and defense. And you're really you're an elusive back, but I see you really get physical in how you play. So in general, like you said, we knew we were going to dog walk South Carolina State. So what was the mindset going into that? And just walk us through how you were feeling during the game.
Well, first I'm going to say, yeah, we showed we was physical, but now we was the most physical. So I'm gonna put that out there. Like Jackson State was definitely the most. I feel like in the whole FCS, we were the most physical team in the whole entire FBS. We had the best offense for scoring in the entire FCS. So we demonstrated a lot of things. So man, just going into that game, and that was the first game of the previous season in South Carolina State when we totally dominated them then. So it was just a trickle effect. We already know going into that game that I'll be honest, man, not to be cocky and that, we just know they wasn't competition for us. FAMU beat them. We beat FAMU. It just the facts is there, so it wasn't hard to tell that Jackson State was going to dominate them and outbeat them. And the score would have been way worse. You saw there that we had a lot of penalties, so a lot of touchdowns and a lot of things got called back. So it wasn't just a normal national championship game. We really played it like it was a regular season game. We just was the better team. We had better talent. We out physical them. We had better coaching. So it showed.
Hey,
So
listen,
we was overly confident.
Hey, I love it. See, this is the realness we love to hear on HBCU Pulse Radio, and this the perspective, because like I said, we never get an opportunity to hear the athlete side of it, and we have our conception of it, but we look at it even as huge sports fans and folks that watch these games and write about the games. We can't look at it from your vantage point because we're not out there playing the game. And then on top of that, we just got the college football game this past year, and HBCUs ain't even in. We got to create the HBCUs, so we can't really even experience it on the video game side either, like 2K. So I really love the perspective of it. And what I want to know, as someone that I've not experienced winning a championship, I've experienced a lot of accomplishments in my life. And I know graduation for me from my HBCU Fort Valley was one of the penultimate accomplishments. But winning a championship at that level in the Celebration Bowl, that is our Super Bowl. And I looked at the videos and I see, tears flowing and hugging and just heard what Coach Taylor said in that post-game press conference. I want to know, just from your vantage point, just take us there, man. How does it feel to win a championship at that level?
Man, that moment where you just get some chills. Man, it was that type of moment, the good chills, man. It's just you just looking around, you just soaking it all in. It felt like you won $1 million. Like that's just something nobody can ever take away from you. Like I always tell the guys, like some seniors, there's gonna be plenty of seniors that don't ever make it to the NFL. That's just the facts. But one thing they can always walk around and say and showing their fingers that they're national champion, and that they're a SWAC champion. So and then they went undefeated. So it's a lot of things you can take away from it that carry on with you for the rest of your life. That's a feeling that you would never get rid of. I still think about it and feel it to this day. I got one of my shirts. I can smell it. It'll take me back to that day. You know what I mean? Like it's just a moment. Like everything just about it, man, just feel good. And like I said, us going in there confident, knowing what we was gonna do is just like a dream come true. But it's just like, yeah, man, and we did it. We didn't just do it for ourselves, man. It's like a Jackson, Mississippi kind of rough. So that's what the city needed. And coach always told us like it was always bigger than the team. And a lot of guys never knew what that meant until they won it and they see how Jackson, Mississippi flourished after that. So I just want to say, yeah, shout out to the fans too as well, because it wasn't just like, a team thing. It was a whole city thing as well.
I love that. I love that. Listen, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Irv Mulligan, Jackson State star running back and future NFL running back. Listen, we're gonna speak it to existence. You know what I'm saying? Because like we need to speak it to make sure it happens. Because you doing the work, like the work is happening, but now we got to speak it to make sure that it does happen, man.
Amen.
So you gave a lot of amazing perspective, just really about the game behind the game and the mindset behind what happens on that field. So I want to get to really your preparation for the NFL draft. And, you're being honest in this interview, and I love it because like one of my questions that I have for you is about the perception of HBCU football, because you talked about it when you did like, your combine interview, right? And you talked about how you want these folks to see that like, yeah, we ball at HBCUs too. It's not just Alabama. It's not just Georgia. We ball at HBCUs too. But as an HBCU athlete, do you think that you're not getting enough attention? Do you think that maybe the scouts are overlooking what you're doing at the FCS level and especially at the HBCU level? Like, what are your thoughts on like the perception of how HBCU football is viewed?
Well, I'll be honest. The perception of how it's viewed, of course, they will always think HBCU is less talent, but scouts know that that's a lie. That's why scouts can see guys like me, Robert McDaniel, and like a lot of other HBCU talents out there. Like it's there. You just gotta find it. Like Jerry Rice, Walter Payton. Like I said, the bread and the pudding is there. Like you got a lot of Hall of Famers that came out of HBCU talent. So it's more so of a publicity thing. So of course Jackson State not gonna get as many eyes as Alabama or Clemson or Georgia gonna get. But if you put the talent on tape, they gonna find you. No matter where you at, they gonna find you, and that's been proven. So I don't really stress or worry about that as much. It's just for me to be the product of my environment, to continue to put it on tape and continue to put the product out there so they can to continue to come grab guys like me and grab HBCU guys.
I love that. So in preparation for the draft, right? So we talked about the perception of it, right? One thing you said in your interview at the Combine is you said that you wanted to show the scouts that you had the ability in the passing game, like you had the ability to catch the ball, because we saw you like running, getting the touchdowns, being elusive as a back, even getting physical at points, but you wanted the scouts to see that level of your game. So how did you work on improving that? Because I know for me, one thing I think about in my mind, like me as a basketball fan, I'm like, you practice it for your sport, but isn't the game sort of practice in itself? And it might sound like this might be like a crazy question out of where, but it's like you're out there, like you're practicing, like you're not practicing at game speed, but like in the game,
learn how to shoot consistent threes by just chilling on the couch. He had to get up and go practice. So I mean, the preparation part is easy. Like, and I'll be honest, they didn't see me catching in games, but Coach TC Taylor knew I can catch. So every day when we do routes on air with the wide receivers, like other running backs doing running back drills and stuff, but I'm in routes on air with the wide receivers because Coach TC Taylor know he can put me at slot at any moment. He can motion me from the backfield to the slot, and I can go catch a pass for him. So I can he always knew I could catch. They just knew I was going to dominate the run game, so they never needed me to really get out there, and do extra. They just wanted me to run the ball. So I was the
So,
bell cow.
so like, is that so? How they know? Because it's like, did they just because they the experts? They just know they like we can tell he can catch, or like was it just like what you showcased at Wofford? Like, how did they know?
I mean, yeah, I was catching the ball out of the backfield at Wofford too, but I mean, it's like, okay, like you got plenty of opportunities to showcase. You got spring football where, there's not a lot of hitting, so it's just a lot of passing going on. So you got to jump out there and show them you can catch and things like that. They, like you said, they're not going to know. So, like I had to do at the HBCU Combine, I had to go out there and showcase I can catch. So like I said, when the wide receivers doing routes on here, I'm with the wide receivers catching. When they doing catching drills, I'm doing catching drills. So, there's a lot of things you can get on the gauntlet with somebody putting the footballs through a machine, you catching it at, high miles per hour. So there's a lot of ways that you can showcase your catching abilities, and like you said, it's not something you just wake up with. You got to have the skill and the talent. You got to have the ability to catch. Not always have the ability to line up in the slot or as in the outside wide receiver and go deep and catch the ball. So I got good hand-eye coordination. I always used to work on that. So, whether that's getting with my trainer, getting tennis balls, and, working on that hand-eye coordination, that's what I do. So I work on a lot of things to make sure my catching skills stay up there. Like I want to be able to catch smooth, soft hands like a wide receiver. I don't want to showcase like I can catch like a running back because there's no running backs can catch like, consistently, but I want to show them that I can catch the ball consistently.
Man, that makes sense because listen, at the end of the day, you're trying to get into the league and you want to show that level of versatility. And another thing you mentioned in that interview at the combine is pass blocking. And for me, maybe I love sports so much, man. I like the intricacies of it. Like folks like, oh, offense, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson, my guy. If you go to the Ravens, I'm cool. That's my team. Or the Falcons. I live in Georgia. It's the Falcons too. But you go to the Ravens, listen, it is. You can back up Derrick Henry, man. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, for me, I always like the defense because people always they say, man, we pay for offense, but I like, hey, like, how can we stop a great player from doing what they do, right? So the intricacy for me in football of like blocking, like how do we protect the quarterback? Because Patrick Mahomes wasn't getting protected, okay? So like how do we protect the quarterback? How do we make sure we open up lanes for the running back? So how did you prepare to show, hey, not only can I run, not only can I catch like a wide receiver, but also if need be, I can block too. Like how do you showcase that and how'd you prepare for that?
Well, how you prepare for it is blocking is something that you really can't prepare for. It's something that you gotta continue to like rep at. You gotta continue to get one-on-ones with linebackers. You gotta continue to, hit the bags. You gotta continue to, work on your technique. Blocking is not easy to a lot of guys, and that's why a lot of guys failed at. That's why a lot of running backs not in the league today because they can't protect the quarterback. And blocking is also not just being physical. That's what a lot of people fail at. Blocking is also IQ. If you're more proactive and not reactive, you can save yourself a lot of trouble. It's being able to call out defenses, be able to help the quarterback identify a blitz, so he can be able to tell a lineman fan out or whatever he need to tell them to be able to protect them. That's another problem. The communication. Like a lot of running backs not able to call out blitzes or be able to pick them up fast enough. So that's where they X themselves out the game. So just being smart, being a vet of the game, knowing what's going on, knowing how to identify defenses, and just repping at it, man. That's how you get good at blocking, and that's my forefront because, man, if you can't protect the quarterback, that's the fastest way to get out the league. He the leader on the team and the most paid guy, so you got to be able to protect him.
Man, listen, if anybody listening to this that like work for an NFL team, draft Irv Mulligan. Like you saw he breaking this down. Like this is the type of stuff I love because this is the IQ and the intelligence behind the game that I think we don't get enough into because like that's what they do in the pros. Like they know the game, they know the intricacies of the game because it's not just who's the fastest, who can throw the hardest, who can jump the highest to get the catch. It's these intricacies of the game like that you're speaking about.
The league is more so like 80% mental, 20% physical. Everybody good, everybody fast, everybody can play football. It's who's the smartest.
Yeah, and a lot of folks don't understand that. And I would say also, I think that once again, when it comes to the media side, we don't understand that and we don't talk enough about that because as folks that's on the media side, we dwell on the narratives. We dwell on sort of what we can understand because how you say it's IQ. It's not just about just being physical. It's IQ. some folks can't understand that. So we're like, hey, who's the best running back? Who are the top 5 running backs in HBCU football? That's the narrative aspect of it. So I want to get to sort of a breakdown of like a comparison, because in a sense, that is a narrative, because I know, because I wrote this article so quick on clutch points. I'm like, everybody make me some money. Okay. Like, I'm about to write this article because you said that, like, you said Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook, that's your comp. So I want you, because hey, listen, I see it. I see it. You know what I'm saying? But I want you to explain the comp and why you said specifically them.
Because they demonstrate being an all-around back. Like, I mean, Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara, for instance, you could both put both of them in the slot, send them on a slant, send them on a fade, send them on a deep ball, go ball, and they'll catch it. You could put them in the backfield to run anything, inside zone, mid zone, outside zone, split zone, whatever. They're gonna run it, and they fast. They got speed. They explosive. They my height, and they physical. The only thing I would say is, I compare myself to them, but I just got a little bit more grit than them. My upbringing just a little bit different. I got a little more swagger. Like, I'm more so like a Marshawn Lynch mixed with a sweetness. So I just compare myself to them because I demonstrate the same things that they demonstrate in the league, and like we all got the same comparison, same height. It's just that when it comes to like the combine stats and stuff like that, the political pieces, that may be a little bit different. But what they show on film, I definitely show on film, no matter where I was at, because like I tell people, I was in the SoCon before I came to the SWAC, so I demonstrated I can play on all types of talents and dominate.
I love that. And listen, me being from Georgia, like I feel like I got to root for the Falcons. So I know a lot about Alvin Kamara, you know what I'm saying? Because like, he on that other side. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm a Ravens guy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to root for the home team. So I see Alvin Kamara out there. We kind of Mercedes Benz. You know what I'm saying? I see the comps. I see it. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that makes a lot of sense. I want to ask this and what you just said. And you said like your upbringing, like your experience, like you think that sort of that grit plays a part into it. How do you think it does? Because I know it's a conversation about sports, is that and I put it like this, right? Black folks making more money. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're making more money because of the sacrifices of folks that went to Jackson State and went to HBCUs to have us in a better economic setting. So for some folks, everybody is not Allen Iverson. Everybody's not what LeBron James was. Some folks are Steph Curry. But a lot of folks feel like the grit is being lost in sports because a lot of folks don't have that level of upbringing. I know for me, I come from a middle class environment. My parents, my mom came from a rougher environment, and she wanted to make sure for her sons that they didn't have that. But I feel like I'm middle class, but I go get it. I'm ambitious. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for you, how do you quantify like your experience? You said, man, you got that grit. You have that experience that's gonna make sure you're gonna succeed. Like, how is that experience for you? Like, how do you put that experience into how you play the game?
Yeah, man, it's just like I know you probably seen a couple of the articles, but my whole life, man, I just been dealing with a whole lot of death, like in my family. So I had to learn, like I lost my sister. Like, that's somebody real close. So real early, we had to learn, like, especially in the low country. That's the country, so you got to grow up fast. We had to learn how to get through like tough situations such as that, and like growing up, my dad, 2 of his houses burned down. It's just a lot of stuff that was a rolling can and trickle effect for me. So I had to learn how to be a man early, and not let those things stop me or throttle me or throw me off my path. So just growing up early, maturing early was different for me, man. And I was always a hard worker, whether that's me waking up every day early, going through construction work with my pops, or even helping my mom do something. I just had to, go out there and get it early. So I always know work ethic and hard work will get you where you need to be. And like I said, like just going through some tough things, man. I lost a lot of people in my life due to like gun violence, domestic violence, things, that nature. So I really had to learn how to stay focused and not let any of that thing deteriorate like the plan. So I got a lot of grit, a lot of like chip on my shoulder, and like football the way I kind of channel it. So man, and I got 2 kids, so a lot of people say like, he run like he got 2 kids. He run like he got a chip on his shoulder. So, I definitely do, because, I got a lot of mouths to feed.
Man, that's new. You run like you have 2 kids. That's new. I've never heard that before. Like, how you run like you got 2 kids? Like, how does that even happen?
I don't know. That's what they say. Sometimes they're screaming in the in the stands and stuff. So it would be funny, man. I don't know.
Hey, listen, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
I get what they're trying to say because I got 2 kids to feed, so I can't play around.
Man, look, got a family feed. I feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like listen, and I'm telling me just listen to what you're saying in this interview, man. Listen, I might apply for a job at a football team, and by the time April comes, I'm gonna be out there in the front office and say, draft Irv Mulligan. Like, I don't care. Titans need to draft Irv Mulligan. We talking about who's got number 1, Irv Mulligan. All right, we're gonna make Walter Payton real happy. Like, at this point.
Yeah, if they smart, yeah, come on with it. But I will say, whatever team do make a smart decision, they got a pro and they got a good player for the rest of the organization. So like I said, whoever make the smart decision, good luck, because they're gonna have a handful.
I feel that. And so let me ask this. So when it comes to like the draft process, like I know on our end in the HBCU advocacy front, like we want people to respect HBCU football. And that's why we're always talking about media rights, and we lionize the Celebration Bowl viewership, because like we want people to see that, the guys, not just at the D1 level, the D2 level, CIAA and SIAC are really talented. And we want to hear our guys' names called. But one thing that we often see when it comes to these front offices is that you got to scout these guys, but you got to put your name on them if you're drafting them. And if they do well, you the man, you a genius. But if they don't, it's like, oh, your job might be on the line. So a lot of folks is like, I'm going to try to go with the surefire person at Alabama, or I'm going to go with the surefire person at Ohio State, versus drafting someone from Fort Valley or Jackson State. But they'll be hitting your line when it's undrafted free agent time. They're like, hey, we didn't draft you, but what's up? So like, is that factored in? Because like, I know we want to see players drafted, but it also seems like undrafted free agency, you might get on the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? You might get on the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? You might get you a ring next year when the Ravens win. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is that in like the mindset? Is the mindset, I am trying to hear my name called? Or is the mindset, no matter what, I'm trying to get in the league and I'll be an undrafted free agent? Like, what's the mindset?
I'll be totally honest with you. I know a lot of guys like biting their nails right now and stressing, but I'm one of the guys, man. Like I always tell people, I'm a businessman that plays football. And I remember Walter Payton saying it, and I learned it from him. And I never understood what he meant till I understood. But I definitely want to hear my name get called. But man, if I get the opportunity to be in the league by being undrafted, it's gonna be the same feeling as if I got my name called. Because I know when I get in there, when I step my foot in the door, I'm gonna kick the door down. So I know what I'm gonna do. So either way it go, it's cool with me, man. I'll be honest with you. So if it go undrafted, I get to choose what organization I want to go to and leave my legacy at. Because that's what's gonna happen. Like I'm not gonna just be on the team to be on it. I'm gonna leave a legacy there. Like that's my mindset wherever I go. So whether my name called or I'm drafted, I know what I'm gonna do on the back end, and I know how I'm gonna leave the game. So that's what you gotta think about, man.
I love that. And listen, when it comes to being undrafted, ain't nothing wrong with that, because I know from Fort Valley and John C. Smith, but Fort Valley, Emmanuel Wilson doing this thing. He went John C. Smith first. So we got to, he went John C. Smith. He graduated from Fort Valley. You know what I mean? So it's like the last team that Emmanuel Wilson was on was Fort Valley State University. You know what I'm saying? And he with the Packers now. And I saw him in 2024 get meaningful game minutes in that AFC, in the NFC divisional, where he hurdled somebody. Like I was like, yo, like, that's crazy. Because like he jumped over. I'm like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can do that. You know what I mean? So like, I see it for you, and I'm really excited for you to get that opportunity and that experience from what you did at Jackson State, put it on for Jackson State, and really that amazing story. Because I think for all of us that are HBCU advocates, we wanted to see Jackson State win for obvious reasons. We wanted to see that happen pretty expeditiously, if you catch my drift. So, you made it happen. Yeah, you made it happen. So I'm super excited for you and where you're going. So I want to ask you this before we go, is that what is your message if there is someone from the NFL scouting or someone that is in the front office listening, what would you want them to know? You might have already spoken to them. They might be like, man, we spoke to Irv already, but I'm listening to this interview on HBCU Pulse Radio, and I'm hearing something different. And I'm hearing something more that makes me want to expend draft capital or be the first call when it's undrafted free agent time. What do you want them to know?
I want them to know that it's safe to take the risk on a guy like me. Specifically me, whether I'm coming out of HBCU conference or whatever conference I'm coming out of, take the risk on me. Because I'm definitely that back that's gonna give you the Walter Payton and, like I said, the Marshawn Lynch vibes. I'm gonna bring a different type of swagger to the league, to the organization, and I'm definitely what they're looking for. So they take the risk on me. I promise they're gonna be some happy campers.
Hey man, I feel that. Listen, at this point, I might hack a computer to make sure you on the top of the draft board. At this point, we gonna make sure, because we got to get you in there, Irv. We got to get you in there, man. But listen, I love it. I think this is amazing. Like I said, I was a huge fan of yours, man. Covering you just from you coming to Jackson State in 2023. We consistently spoke about you on HBCU Pulse Radio. Me and my co-host Ariel Kilgore, and all the amazing things that you were doing. So I'm just excited for what's next for you, man. And just one last thing before you go, what's your social media, man? Like, how can we follow you and follow your journey?
Yeah, my Instagram is Mr. Mulligan, 3 M's, 1 R, a period, and Mulligan, MULLIGAN. And on Twitter is @34Mulligan.
I love it, man. Listen, Irv Mulligan, Jackson State star and future NFL running back. Like I said, you doing the work. We speaking it into existence, man. But listen, thank you so much for coming on. You're listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to HBCUPulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.